So this is for assembling the mobile, and you're gonna take a total of 3 rods and you hang them up with strings. And here come the strings. There we go. Hope this is not gonna take me too long here. Okay. And with these here, I just mark where the pivot points are, which is going to be also the 0 markers. So whatever you're going to calculate later on has to come out to that 0 where the pivot markers are. Okay, now I'm going to put the objects on here. Okay. Of course, whatever objects you're using. Okay. And the car. And there we go. Okay, now you have to see what you have to measure. Of course, you have to measure the masses. So the mass of the teddy bear here, M1, the mass of the toy car, M2, mass of the toilet roll, M4, the mass of the umbrella, M5, the distances at which they are. So here for the teddy bear, and I put this in kind of this bluish color here, meaning that you have to measure, as you're measuring to the left, you have to keep it negative. So this one has to be a negative distance, always measuring from the pivot point to where the object is suspended. And so for the toilet roll here, this would be the same deal. There. And then for the car, well, it would be a positive distance, and for the umbrella, that would be a positive distance. There we go. And then, of course, you label these as x1, x2, x4, x5. Then you're not done yet, because the rods themselves have some mass, so you have to figure out where exactly is the middle of the rod, because that's where it pulls. In this case, the middle of the rod is to the right of the pivot point, so I'm going to measure here to the right. So actually this one here is really tiny. This one here I would call then x3. And then the mass of the rod I would call M3. And this was supposed to be a 3. Over here, the mass of the rod would be M6. And then here, apparently I have to measure a distance x6. And I have to mark the middle of the rod. I want to say approximately here. This again is also measured to the left, so it comes out to be a negative. And you have to pay attention to that. Okay, so far so good. Okay, actually the part of the mobile on the left is done, the part of the mobile on the right is done, so you could already make a couple of calculations. And then you have to do the entire mobile, and for that you would have to say that, well, I have a total mass here, and I have a total mass here, and this one here I call MA, this one here I call MB, and the two are a distance of XB from the pivot point and XA from the pivot point, and those distances are here, and of course XA again is measured as a negative, and XB is measured as a positive, always from the pivot point, always towards where the weight is, where the mass is suspended, so to the string there. You always measure just the horizontal distances, you never measure the string lengths, they're inconsequential. And then for this top bar here, I also need where the center of mass is. It's approximately here, so in this case again I come up with a positive length. That's how you set up your mobile. That's how you're measuring. And let's see, I think I have to label this one here. One more label. XC is this distance here, and then the mass of the rod is called MC. And when you look at the drawing that is supplied on the lab sheet, then you will see that I pretty much reproduced that drawing. And as I said, this is how your mobile should look at. Measure everything that you're supposed to measure. Don't take it down, because if you make a measurement error, if you come up with a result that's wrong, you may have to measure again. And this one is a very accurate experiment, so you should come up with very good results. So as I said, keep it up and make sure that you measure correctly.